What was that one Will Smith movie or Will Ferrell movie? So wait, what is it? P.
Yeah, push and P.
Push. P.
You don't hear that? Pushing P.
What was that one Will Smith movie?
To the Bench to Mike podcast. This has been a podcast that's long overdue. I keep interviewing other people, and I need to actually interview my best friend here. So now we're both hosting a podcast. You know what I'm saying? The pushing P. It's the problem we're having on this podcast is like the P sounds. But yeah, welcome. Bench to Mike podcast officially has started. We are so excited. We go to games all the time, and we just figured we'd finally start a podcast. So I'll let Chris introduce himself. You guys kind of know him from other interviews, other videos he's been in. But, like, I feel you guys don't really know Chris other than that one interview we did from the, what was it? What was that series called?
I think it was, like, Life After Football.
Life After Football. Those interviews. I can get back into those. But anyways, Chris, go ahead and introduce yourself for the podcast.
Hey, everyone. Time of recording is 11/22. November 22nd, so I don't know when he's going to release it, but happy Thanksgiving. If you haven't met me already, I'm Chris. The last video I was in was the John Carroll game day vlog, and then the last time I actually was on the mic was the Life After Football video. But if you haven't met me already, I go to Bowling Green State University. It's a university that's about 40 minutes from our hometown, so I commute there. Studying right now to be a high school biology teacher, and everything's going good right now. So that's about all I got. I like fishing.
Heck yeah. He likes fishing a lot. It's kind of a problem. One thing I just wanted to kind of, before we get into the games, do you know what inspired this podcast? Because I'm someone that always wanted to do a podcast. I think you already knew that. Like, I always wanted to do a podcast. But, like, in your opinion, how did we start this?
We've always been going to football games, and there was, like, a couple times where we just talk, and it was like, you know what? What if we started, like, just recording our conversations about what we think about football, what we think about our game day experiences, or what we think is going on in the world of all levels of football. And we're just like, why don't we just grab a camera and record and see how well it does?
That's basically how it started, guys. I mean, if anyone was curious, that's kind of the origin of it. Like, I always wanted to do a podcast, but I really couldn't afford the equipment. And I mean, now that I have a pretty good job, I work at Little Caesars, and I really want to keep pursuing this YouTube thing. And also, I would love to be a podcaster. Like, I'd much rather be a podcaster over doing YouTube vlogs, low key. I really enjoy this. But I'm super glad I can finally start like an actual like series, an actual like podcast with a name, and we have hosts, and we can do things now. So this is really cool. I feel like this is gonna be a great start, something awesome. So yeah. So I mean, without further ado, we'll just jump in. So we did go to the John Carroll versus Mount Union game, Division III. John Carroll and Mount Union, for those who don't know, is a huge rivalry every year. But you really can't say rivalry because like in other sports, yes it is, but in football, I think they've only beat us.
I think they're 3 and like I think after the last game they're 3-37, I believe.
3-37 against Mount Union all time. Like, that is crazy. But like, it's a huge rivalry. It's a big deal. Like, Mount Union, I go to Mount Union, so like we always say, "What's a blue streak?" during streak week. But yeah, it's never. I mean, we beat them 49-14. So I mean, it's not really much of a rivalry. It seems like anymore.
Mount Union versus John Carroll. It maybe not so much of football, but it is a big basketball rivalry. Like I was looking through the archives because you were talking to me last year about how hyped you were that Mount Union made to the Final Four, and I was like, wonder how Mount Union did in the regular season. So I was looking, and I was like, man, Mount Union did pretty good. Ranked number 2. They split the series against John Carroll, and on their website, on their athletics website, under every single athletic schedule like basketball and football, they have history under every single game. So I clicked the history link with the John Carroll, and I think Mount Union holds a slight advantage. I don't know the exact record, but I think they're leading the series by one game.
So,
for example, it would be like 51-50 all time. So maybe not so much in football, but it is a big basketball rivalry.
I mean, I kind of wish the football rivalry was like that more because, like, we always say, especially I'm on the football team at Mount, so like we always say like week 9 and 10 are like the first round of the playoffs, really. because like we play the two best teams at the end, in the conference at the end of the game, John Carroll and Baldwin Wallace. But like we just blow through them, and I wish it was kind of more of like a rivalry where they actually put up a good fight. But I did feel like I feel like John Carroll did play their heart out this game. They just weren't as good as us.
Yeah, last year,
man,
both of those games were hard fought battles.
And being someone on the sideline the last year, we didn't even care. Like maybe the varsity guys can disagree, but like I was on the sideline for that game, watching with the guys, and we didn't think anything of them coming back and winning because they were creeping back up. That comeback was coming close, and we didn't even realize that they were coming back up in the score until like towards the end of the fourth quarter, and we're like, oh, they are kind of coming back now. And then we went a little bit of a panic, but like we did a really good job of just keeping our composure, and we didn't even care that they were scoring us. So we were like, okay, we're gonna keep battling back, and I think that was that's what I love about Mount Union is like just a culture there, and like we didn't care that they were scoring on us. We were just like, we're gonna keep stopping them, we're gonna keep fighting, we're gonna keep. It's like I didn't even notice they were coming back until probably late in the fourth because we also came to that game, and like until I talked to you after the game, I was like, I didn't realize what happened during that game.
Yeah, it was like what 35 to or not 35, like 34-10 maybe, and it was like John Carroll never really had it, and then they just came back out of nowhere, and it came down to the very last drive. Like I wasn't really paying attention to the score, but I was like, okay, 34-10, it's pretty much over. And then I look back up the scoreboard, it's 34-28, and John Carroll has the ball with like 30 seconds left. I was like,
it really creeped up on us.
Yeah,
it was 34-28 was the final score. I'm gonna look up the score stream real quick, the box score. Let's see what it says. November 5th box score. Like I said, they creeped back up on us. Yeah, so it was 14 to. Whoa, that does not seem right at all. Okay, it was 14-14 at the end of the first half, and then we had 13 unanswered points in the third quarter. So it was, we didn't miss a PAT. That's crazy. And then they came back and they scored 14 points, and we only scored one touchdown in the fourth. So it was kind of weird they creeping back. Looking back at the box score, I thought it was way different than that. But
me too.
So they scored 14 points in the second, 14 points in the fourth. But the Mount Union, we scored 7, 13, 7. So that's kind of how it went down. But
this game was not like that at all.
No, we just smacked them around. And then we hurt their quarterback too, and they had this freshman come in, and like his first pass, he threw a pick six. So that was definitely interesting. Very first pass thrown was a pick six.
Yeah, defensive line was doing really good. I feel like John Carroll was moving the ball pretty decently on the ground game in the first quarter, and I don't know what happened.
Is it John Carroll, you think? Well,
yeah.
I actually have the stat line. It's not good. They only have 39 total yards rushing that entire game.
In the whole game?
They had 39.
39.
They had 28 attempts for 39 total yards. And they actually but the thing is that's like the net. The gross, like they lost 34 yards though. They did lose in the rushing game. But so technically they had 73, but they lost 34. So technically Chris isn't wrong. Like they were doing okay. We had 189 yards rushing total. We gained 195 yards on 28 attempts. I mean, that was broken up amongst 4 or 5 running backs, though. So, John Carroll did have a really solid running back, though. I did like him.
Yeah. What was the number of that receiver that was doing really good for John Carroll?
14. 14's really that white guy with the long white sleeve. Yeah, he was our bread and butter last year. We clamped him up. Shout out Derek Bradley, who clamped him up last year. This year, he was making plays.
Yeah, he really broke out this year. Because last year you were telling me about how you guys locked him up, and I was like, okay, it'll probably be more or less the same as last year. And how many yards did he finish with?
I can find that out right now. Go to individual stats.
I remember 2 catches in particular that went for at least 30 yards.
Yeah, so let's see. His name's Brennan Few. He had 8 receptions for 109 yards, long of 41.
Wow. And
then they had another receiver, Joe Torek, 6 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown, as long as 24. Tyler Mintz also had 3 receptions for 85 yards. So there's that.
Great receivers.
Yeah, John Carroll had some solid receivers. I think the biggest things our D line linebackers was in there making pressure that quarterback had no time. That was probably their biggest downfall. I mean, the receivers were doing an all right job. I'm not gonna lie. I think Mount Union this year, we just don't have the best secondary compared to what we had last year. Like the secondary is just not the same as what it was. And like knowing who the secondary are, no hate on you guys at all. But just compared to what it was last year, I just feel like teams can really pass on us. I feel like they can.
It's gonna come down whether or not you guys can get pressure in the playoffs.
And but I feel like we've been doing a good job of that. I mean, with Rossi, McMillan, Duke, and then we have other good D linemen that I'm just not naming because I'm brain farting. But like, I mean, I feel like we do a good job. It's like, but also I feel like we definitely have a weak side of our secondary, and we definitely have a strong side. I mean, we have Josh Jones, a 5th-year senior, who phenomenal athlete, our best corner on the team. And I'm not saying the other corner on the other side is a bad corner. I do know his name. I'm not gonna say anything though. He's also a great corner. He would lock me up in practice, as I'm saying. But like, it doesn't feel like you can tell we're missing Derek Bradley from last year. You can just tell.
Yeah, it's not like it was last year. Getting to the stadium was a different story, though.
How so? Go ahead and explain, Chris.
So we get to the university. We're in the parking lot, and it's like, all right, we'll just walk around the campus for a little bit. So we're walking through the campus, walking through the buildings. You can check that video out, by the way, when he was recording inside of that. I don't remember what building that was. The building with the clock on it.
That big old building with the clock on it. Just a clock tower, we'll say.
Clock tower. So then it gets to the point where it's like, okay, let's go to the stadium. So, and we see the map, and it's like, where's the stadium? And it's like, it was somewhere behind the bookstore, I believe is what it was called. The building with the bookstore.
Yeah, something like that.
And we're just like, okay, we'll just walk through the bookstore. We'll walk past the bookstore. So we walk through the bookstore. It's a pretty decent bookstore. I don't think I've ever seen your bookstore, but for small colleges, it's better than like other small colleges I visited for.
I'm not gonna lie, it kind of compares to some bigger schools for me. Like it compares to some bigger school bookstores. Our bookstore is really nothing special.
Mm-hmm. So I buy a little pencil because I mean I have a place in my bedroom where I have something from every single sports venue that I've been to. So I figured I'd grab a John Carroll pencil. We walk out of the bookstore. We go to a map that's at the front of the building, and we look to where the stadium is. And I'm like, "Where's the stadium?" And it's just on the complete other side of campus. It's behind the bookstore, or it's behind that building with the bookstore in it. So we're like, "Okay, we'll just try to walk around." We can't walk around, and these people are telling us, "Oh yeah, you gotta walk. You gotta walk through the bookstore." It's like, okay, so this thing, it was like the back rooms, dude.
It was like the back rooms. That's a good way to.
It just kept going and going and going and going.
We got directions 4 times, and every time it was different directions. I swear. Like they were like, go up the stairs and take a left, turn right, then look to your right, but go left. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. And then we had this old lady who actually is the mom of one of my coaches, so Coach Allen. But dude, it was so weird, and there was so much construction going on, so you couldn't even walk around the buildings. Like, John Carroll, what are you fixing? Your old campus? You guys have everything.
Not good. So we go to the bottom floor first, and it was just one hallway, boiler room, all that stuff. So it's like, okay, this definitely is not it. So we go back up to the ground floor. Then we go to the top floor, and it's like
we're in the locker rooms, basically. We're in the locker rooms at that point, right?
Not at that point.
What point is this? Oh, is it the weight room point?
Yeah. We get upstairs. No, and then we walk by the rec center basketball courts, and there's like some intramural thing going on. I don't know. There was somebody wearing a St. Bonaventure jersey, which I don't know. That's a Division I basketball school, so it must have been like an intramural type thing. But,
probably.
So we keep walking down there, and at this point, the band is coming up. It's like, where the heck is the band going? And I look at Caleb, and I'm like, I think we should follow the band because they're probably going to lead us to the stadium. So we follow the band, and then we somehow lose the band. From the point to where we saw the band and we turned to follow the band, they were gone.
They were quickie. They were quick little blue streaks, you know what I'm saying?
So we ask another person, like, oh, yeah, you got to go down this hallway and make a left. So we went down the hallway, made a left. Then we see the gym. We found the weight room,
which is also like on like there's the ground floor, there's a basement, and then there's like another basement. Like that's where the gym is. It's like you go down even more to get to the gym. It's the weirdest thing.
It was insane.
What is wrong with your facilities, John Carroll? Tell me.
So we're walking with his coach's mom, And she asks the person at the desk, because it was a dead end. Well, we saw a door at the end of that hall with the weight room, and it said, "Do not open. An alarm will sound." It was like an emergency exit.
Oh, and she was trying to go out, and we're like, no,
Yeah, we're
stop.
like, don't.
And she just kept walking towards the door. I'm like, what are you doing?
So knowing us, we just have we're too proud to ask for directions.
Well, because we've already asked directions for like 3 times. Like we're fed up with asking.
Yeah. So his coach's mom goes up to the person at the counter, and she asks for directions, and he's like, "Oh yeah, just go through this random door, go up the stairs, and then this and that." So we go up the stairs to that other floor. We see the basketball court, the actual basketball court. That's not where we're going. Then this person gives us more directions, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you got to take these stairs. You got to go this way, back down, back up." So that's what we did, and we end up by the John Carroll locker room. You know, you got the football players getting ready. They're outside of the locker room. Yeah, they're bumping music. We see their trophies. I'm assuming it's basketball trophies, because I don't
think John Carroll's ever done anything ever in school history.
I don't think. I mean, they haven't really done anything in football since like 2016 or something like that. But they got all their basketball trophies out. Football players are bumping. And it's like, okay, so we just go out the first door that we see that's not an emergency exit, which I don't know how there was. I've never seen so many emergency exit doors. I think I've only ever seen one on my campus.
It's like you're not, like, once you go in the building, you're not allowed to leave the building.
It's like you're trapped. There's one way in, one way out.
Yeah.
So we just go out the first door that we see that's not an emergency exit. So we go out there, and I was like, "Hey, let's go out this one," because I remember you telling me before the game, you guys take Anderson University branded buses, and
yeah, I'm not sure if it's Anderson University or is it actually
it's Anderson University. That's what it said on your bus.
Did it really say? I thought it was like maybe it was like an Anderson brand of buses.
Maybe those are maybe. I just remember. I'm pretty sure I saw Anderson University on the bus. I could be totally wrong.
We gotta look into that. I don't know what's going on, because Anderson sucks at football. It might be some bad juju on those buses or something.
I mean, the only reason I could think of maybe saying Anderson University, because my girlfriend's brother goes to Anderson University, so that's the only thing I could think of.
Well, that's one thing I'm really jealous of Anderson, though. I am just change topic real quick. They actually put the names, or at least not this year. They got new jerseys, but last year they put names on the back of their jerseys. Like, the kids get names, and they actually have like captain patches. And
really?
And like no D3 team does that. Like, but they have captain patches and they get their name on the back of the jersey, and I'm like, I wish.
Wow.
I had an Anderson coach in my DMs on Twitter, but they didn't have my major, so I didn't bother. Well, actually, maybe they do. I can't remember. I don't think they do though, actually. But I'm super jealous because they have captain patches and names on the back of the jersey.
I don't know. The only thing I know that they have is national security, and that's what my girlfriend's brother's over there for. That's the only.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool school. It's nice little campus.
Is it really?
Yeah, a lot of nice buildings. They're better kept, well kept than John Carroll's buildings. I'll say that they care more about their facilities.
Yeah, John Carroll, be better.
But so we walk out the door where we see their team, Mount Union's team buses, and then somebody starts yelling at us, like as soon as we go out the door. And I turn around, and it's somebody in a Mount Union hoodie, which I'm assuming is
Coach Allen.
Yep, your Coach Allen, and then that's when we found out that was his mom. So she left us. So the pressure was off of us. The pressure was eased off of us there, because we didn't have to worry about leading this nice lady to the stadium. So then I think that's where the tailgates were happening. Though.
Yeah, tailgates were like off to the side, but then like the field was like straight on. And what was really cool is they have this giant arch before you even enter into like where the stadium is. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, that was a cool looking building. We should have taken a picture there.
We definitely should have, but there was like a crowd of like students guarding like this like QR code ticket booth thing. We were like kind of feeling awkward about it, and we're not that bold yet. We're not that famous yet. Stay tuned though for 1,000 subscribers. But yeah, once I start making money from this, that's when I'll start being more bold. Okay, guys, so if you're gonna complain about not taking pictures, okay, I know you want to see Chris's cute face. I know that, but like, come on, share with your social media page. What's going on right now? Anyways, Chris, go ahead. They were being rude.
No, it's all good. So we walk through the arch, and boom, there's a baseball field.
Baseball field.
That was not, this football stadium was not the first thing that we saw.
That is true, because it was kind of like an L, and like the baseball field was there, and then the stadium was like off to your right.
Yep, the baseball park was the first thing that came through. Which, okay, so at first, I I didn't see it at first. I was like, "Where's the stadium? Everyone's out here." And I just turned to the right, and then boom, there's just this big grandstand of home bleachers. I was like, "There it is."
Heck yeah. Also, though, shout out John Carroll. This is one thing they're better than us than Mount Union. I'm not sure if you knew this, Chris, but our softball and baseball diamonds are like a mile off campus. Like you have to like our softball and baseball teams drive off campus to go to practice.
No, I've been to Mount Union twice, and I've never seen you guys' baseball or softball fields.
We don't have ours are like I guess it's at a park, and you just go. I guess it's like right across the street from Mount, but you just like you'll drive down like a road across from State Street. The softball girl I interviewed, she tried explaining it to me, and I was like, I'm not following. But yeah, we don't even have a baseball field on campus. We just, good because we're a football school, right? But yeah, I'm not sure you knew that. So shout out John Carroll for like actually allowing their student athletes to have their stuff and their facilities on campus. So
yeah, everything was in proximity with each other. Like looking back on it, you got the football stadium and the baseball field were all next to each other. I don't know if I saw a softball diamond or not, or maybe they share. I don't know. I'm not that educated on the parameters of both of the two. And then you got the basketball court, which I'm assuming shares with the volleyball. So looking back, if you know your way around the facilities and everything, the campus, everything works because it's all in proximity. But like for people that are not from there, if you're first time visiting John Carroll, it gets a little dicey around that.
I think there's an argument too that every college campus is like that, but John Carroll was over the top.
Yeah, it's debatable. Small colleges maybe, big colleges they have more space to put everything, so it's not all jam packed.
I think I would still get lost at BG. Like when I was walking around there, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like on my tour, it was kind of like, what the heck? It is a lot, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, our stuff. The Stroh Center is where volleyball and basketball happens. And you know where the Stroh Center is, right? It's right off the street.
That's the one place I do know.
Yeah, and football field is right next to I-75, and then
everybody sees
where
that.
The baseball diamond is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But once we got to the stadium, I was like, hey, let's just do a walk around the stadium. And I'll give it to them. It was a pretty nice stadium.
It is. I also got the concession stands are underneath the home stands, and they have like a little garage where their concession stands are. It's really, really a neat field.
Yeah, it was pretty. I enjoyed it. Home stands looked really nice from the away stands. Away stands, smaller schools, so they made it work. It would definitely look not as good if they were big away stands. I feel like we packed the away stands really good.
Yeah, but I feel like there wasn't enough seats. I feel like they needed like an extra row or two for at least our people, because it was tight.
But your average away game, like if they're attracting another bad team, like if a bad team is going to visit John Carroll, it's just not going to be how it was.
Mm-hmm. It probably helps out the atmosphere a little bit.
Yeah, but everything was nice. I wish they had a video board. That's the first thing. I'm just so used to a video board being at every single game. There was it was just your traditional scoreboard.
I didn't even realize that actually, because Mount Union has a video board and a lot of other schools have video boards, but I didn't even realize that John Carroll doesn't have one.
That was my first football game outside of high school that I've been to that just didn't have a video board.
You should see Defiance's scoreboard. It looks like a 1940s rundown, just hunky-dory. Defiance is a really bad scoreboard, in my opinion. But yeah, I didn't even realize that. That's crazy.
Yeah. But the turf looked really nice. You could tell they definitely take care of their stadium.
Well, absolutely.
So, I'll give it to them. I'll give it to them.
They're off-brand Notre Dame, of course they have nice facilities. So, did you want to dive into the stats anymore? Because I was looking at the stats, and I'm just like, from John Carroll really. I don't know how to put this. John Carroll really didn't do anything against us. They really didn't. Like they really just couldn't put anything together in terms of the actual game itself.
There was a point in the second quarter where they were moving the ball a little bit. I feel like that maybe it was because what was it? What was the score at halftime? 28-7. 28-10.
Oh, I got it right here. It was 28-7.
Yeah, 28-7. I feel like you guys might have eased off a little bit in the second quarter because that's when I feel like they were starting to really get their yards through the air.
We still had our starters in though. I didn't notice anyone that was like a backup that was in. We still had all. I guess our running backs. We put some backup running backs in, but I wouldn't even call them backups. We just have a large depth of running backs. But we kept our starters in the whole game, really.
Yeah, but that's just football though. Everyone gains momentum at some point. Like there's never a point to where a team is just completely beaten down and just has negative yards across the board. Somebody's going to get yards from the team. But I feel like the second quarter is really – I know they put a lot – I know they put up, 14 or 17 points.
Yeah, it's 14 points.
14 points. The second quarter is when they were moving the ball pretty decently.
I mean, we scored 3 touchdowns passing. So, I mean, I really thought that was going to be their game plan, was to shut down Wayne. But they did not shut down Wayne at all. Wayne was awake that whole game. That was probably Wayne's best game of the season, arguably. I mean, he had actually a good game against Alfred State, too. But, I think it was a big problem on defense, too. I wouldn't say it was lack of effort, but the secondary was just lazy. There was a play where Wayne – I'm not going to pull the clip up. Like, you guys can go find it if you want. But Wayne, like, he caught a deep ball, and the DB just tried to push him out of bounds, and Wayne just kept his feet in bounds and took it to the house. Like, he ran from the extra, 40 yards. And, like, the ball, I mean, it was like a 20-yard pass, something like that. But the DB just, tried to push him. It was like, what are you doing? Like, tackle him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not rooting for John Carroll or anything, but it's like, I just feel like the secondary wasn't full go. Or, I'm not sure what the game plan was for Wayne, because they did not shut him down at all. And I was just really surprised. I feel like that was going to be their big strategy, because Wayne made some crazy plays.
If you're going up against a team like Mount Union, there's only so much you can game plan for. Because, okay, let's say you have all 11 guys covering Wayne, which will never happen, but let's say you do. Everyone else is going to make plays. If you have, triple, quadruple team him, other people will make plays. And Mount Union is just a team that has multiple playmakers. Like, you can't double cover everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I told you too. Shout out Smooth, by the way. Smooth is the other receiver opposite of Wayne, and when Wayne gets shut down, it rarely ever does he get shut down. But when you're pressing him plus a safety over top, I mean, it's basically wrapped. But Smooth's making plays. Smooth is a really good receiver for Braxton. Our tight end Chase, he's really good, and also our run game is just phenomenal. I mean, when you rotate 4 backs, we have a running back who's our third string or fourth string running back was a transfer. He was a number 7, a 5th or 7th best running back in DT football last year, and he transferred here. Now he's our third string running back, and that's crazy to me. You know, he's a starter, got a bunch of carries last year. Now he's our third string. I mean, that shows you the depth and talent we have on this team. When one man goes down, another man comes up. And one of our backup receivers played D1 football at Youngstown State, and he's a backup. I'm not saying he doesn't see the field, but he's a backup. And so if somebody goes down, he's up, and he's a dog. So I'm just saying, the depth we have is insane. It's crazy. The guys we bring in, you know.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it would have been closer if John Carroll's press box.
The press box.
Press box.
The press box.
Who knows? Man, I'm telling you, man. Maybe they got thrown off their game. Maybe
Yeah.
They were stealing stuff, and it got with the whole Michigan sign stealing thing. Maybe they had all your guys' signs written down, and then it all burned up. Because remember that fire alarm was going off, and they evacuated the press box.
Yeah, because the press box was evacuated. Was it even before the game started?
It was before the game started.
5-10 minutes before the game started.
They delayed the game. It felt like for about 10 minutes maybe. It wasn't long, but
there was 20 people in the press box, but there was the fire alarm going off, and they couldn't get them shut off the whole game. So what they did is they just turned off the sound, but you still saw the flashing fire alarm lights the whole game. And we thought it might be, Chris made a joke about a pizza box. But then also I was thinking too, there was a giant charcoal. They were having charcoal. What do you call it? Getting the warmed up charcoal? What do you call that?
Oh, it was under the stands.
Yeah.
They were smoking. They were smoking pork.
Yeah, okay. And it was just all this massive amounts of charcoal, and there was all this smoke. I wonder if the smoke came up to the press box, because it was right underneath the press box. Kind of a poor place to have charcoal, in my opinion. But
yeah, I don't know. Or who knows? They could have had their whole game plan just burn up in the press box.
That definitely could be it too. Or maybe the plays were in the pork, and they burnt the pork. And there you go. That could have been it too.
Maybe. You never know.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So we're gonna transition here from John Carroll to the Western Michigan game. We just got back from that last night as of recording this. And Chris, I have a lot I want to say, but in all reality, I think you should start us off and how to go for you, and you start us off. Western Michigan game. What's up?
Well, I was when I got those tickets, I thought, okay, it'd be maybe an hour and a half from Bowling Green. Mm-hmm. But when we looked at the map yesterday, this Kalamazoo, the city of Kalamazoo, it's called Western Michigan for a reason. It's literally all the way over near Lake Michigan. It's west as can be.
West side, baby. West side. West side.
So we hop on the interstate. We head up to Ann Arbor, and we just drive for 2.5 hours, and there's all this construction. It took us off the interstate for what felt like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We're just driving through like a countryside.
Yeah.
Being stopped by school buses. We eventually got back on the highway, but man, it was
so bad.
A really long drive. And then not to mention the weather was just not there.
Not good at all.
Not there. Excuse me. We got on campus. We just hit the first lot we saw, which, by the way, you made a couple comments about us getting there too early, but I'd like to say that I got us free parking for being there early.
If you guys don't know Chris, which you guys don't, but I've been best friends with Chris since kindergarten?
Something like that.
And this man, well, I think didn't you drive before me? Because like I took a while to get my license, but I think you got your license before I did, didn't you?
I don't recall. I just remember getting my license.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I got it before you.
Chris has always just been a guy about like being in the best spot possible, parking. Just it could ruin the game. Could be absolutely the most entertaining game in the world, but if he doesn't get the best seat, the best parking, the best situation, the whole day is ruined. And this man, like, we got front row parking. We had to walk just down a sidewalk and we're right there at the stadium. He's like, man, free parking. Yeah, we got the best. And we're 4 hours early to the game, bro. I'm over here freezing. I got 4 layers on. I don't even own a coat, and it's freezing. And it's dude, we got such good parking, but now we're walking around the cold, just exploring Western Michigan's campus. We try to go to see Kalamazoo College football field, but they have it locked up. I hate you, Kalamazoo. This is why your team sucks. But yeah, this man, him and his free parking, man, or just good parking spots. I just don't get it. But
we got out. We got out quick.
I am grateful for that. But man, this man, he's like a proud dad. I just can't do this anymore. It's like having I don't even have a dad, and it's like having a proud dad. But like this man loves his parking. So, oh man,
free parking's the best parking. Anyways, we get out and it's like, okay, we're 4 hours early, right? 4 hours early.
4 hours early.
Yeah,
before kickoff. Yeah.
Yep. Best time to just walk around and explore. So we're walking around, exploring the campus. He's walking around with his football and his helmet on because we're expecting to get to Kalamazoo College's football field and take a couple pictures for Instagram, but
didn't happen.
Yeah, we're walking around and it's like, man, it's a whole leg day walking around around Western Michigan's campus.
Up and down hills.
Up and down. And I mean, I've been to James Madison's campus. Their campus is really, really hilly, but it's not in the aspect of it's up and down all the time. It's just one part of the campus is up high, the other part of the campus is down low. So it's just you go down a really big hill, then you go back up a really big hill. This was unlike anything I've ever seen. This was just constantly up and down, up and down, up and down. So we get to the front of, or I guess we get to the stadium. We're not really to the stadium. We're just walking by the stadium. I really liked how that side of campus was really centered around their stadium. I thought it was really, really greatly integrated in the campus.
I can agree with that, yeah. I can agree with that.
They have their softball field and their baseball field all next to it, and we're walking around the ridge of this hill. We get to the main campus, and the main campus is more or less the same, I'd say, same style buildings and this and that. That was the rec center, though, by the way, that big, cool-looking building that was at the front. I looked at the map, and I was like, I wonder what that was. That was the rec center.
Was it the one that I guessed was the rec center, or was that not the one that I guessed?
Oh, I didn't know you guessed it was the rec center.
The one that, with the horses and the giant W on it.
Yeah, that was the
rec
center. That was
the one, okay.
Which, very nice rec center. I'm interested to see when that was built. I know ours was built in the 70s, and it looked newer than that. So we get to Kalamazoo College's field, and it's all gated off, which was kind of a letdown.
Yeah, we walked. We come to find out too that we walked all the way around to get to Kalamazoo when we had like a more of a straight path from our parking spot. I don't know. We walked all the way around for like nothing.
Yeah, it was really pointless. Which I can say, good job, Western Michigan, with all of the different paths and ways to get to places.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Good job.
A lot of schools like John Carroll just cut things off and no emergency exit. Like,
yeah. Good job, Western. Good job.
Shout out Western.
Kudos.
Go Broncos.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Even though you guys didn't ride nothing, but a Falcon.
I think we might have to cut that one out.
We might have to bleep that. Actually, we might have to bleep that. I got my first bleep because I usually have to bleep other people, but now I'm gonna have to bleep myself. Shout out CF3.
Not good.
Disappointed in myself.
Yeah. So Kalamazoo College, I can say kudos to you guys. You guys, although you guys had everything gated, really nice field, really nice. If you go to Kalamazoo College, and if you've ever been to a Kalamazoo College game, I bet it's a decent experience. Nice field, nice facilities. I liked how it was like the two stadiums mirrored each other. Like Western was just a bigger version of Kalamazoo College, because Kalamazoo College was built. Did you notice how it was built in the side of a hill?
Yeah,
too. That's how Western's was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was like they mirrored each other.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually. Yeah.
So good job. Kudos to you guys. Not that you're gated though. Yeah. Take the gates down. Start the movement. Sign the petition. Take down the gates.
Hashtag take down the gates.
Take down the gates.
So, now about the stadium. What were your expectations going into the game, Chris? Like, what'd you expect? Because I know what I expected, and it wasn't that.
I was probably expecting what you were expecting. I mean, coming off a loss last week, they already have their 6 wins, and Western had nothing to lose. So I honestly was kind of expecting a close loss. Like last year when we played Western at home, final score was 13-9. It was just a dumpster fire of a game, and I was expecting something like that, but going the other way. It was not how I expected.
No. Quick
31-0 lead, and I was like, whoa.
I honestly thought that, well, in my opinion, being from Mount Union and playing for the dominant Purple Raiders, Bowling Green's awful. You guys lost to Toledo. Awful, right? I personally, the Mount Union Raiders, they wouldn't have lost to Toledo. But
okay, just get going with what you're saying. This makes no sense.
Yeah, it's like I just thought Bowling Green, Western Michigan, I thought it'd be like a more, I guess it'd be a close game. I figured it was kind of like the toilet bowl of the MAC,
Okay, are you done?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can go back and watch the live stream on YouTube. Because MAC football games don't really mean anything, so they stream them on YouTube. But this man's fighting to throw the mic at me. But nah,
we're just not gonna talk about the run game last year against North Central. He's silent. He's silent. See. Right. Anyways, back to the game. The stadium was really nice. I really liked how it looked. I really liked how it was built on the side of a hill. This is Western's, by the way. I liked how it had a lower bowl and then the 2 grandstands, and then it had end zone stands. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then you didn't notice this till the end of the game, but it had 3 video boards.
I didn't notice. I was actually watching the game, and then I turned my head, even though there was 2 video boards right in front of my field of vision. It was really cool. But why not have a 4th one? Because I feel like it's awkward to have. Well, I guess the one
Where would the 4th one even go?
I moved the other one over and then put the other one. But they did have the one video board on the other side. The one by itself was way bigger, so that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, good job. Nice press box, and I liked how they integrated their athletic facility into the. Yeah, they added that on there and there.
I wish they would put their band on one of the sides, blasting onto the field rather than blasting at the away. I mean, blasting at away people is kind of cool too, but blasting off to the side is really. I think it would be really cool.
I feel like they should have their. I don't know. This is just me, but I think how it was oriented, I think the home and the band should have been where we were sitting, and I think we should have been sitting on the other side.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like how Mount Union set up with the press box being the big press box being on the one side. It's just different,
I think for an intimidation factor too. I think just having your big giant home grandstand with your press box with your band facing the away team and just the home team just being on that side. I think it just creates a better, I guess, aura or a more intimidating, I guess, environment for the opposing team.
Absolutely. But also, I'm not sure if you look at it this way, but when people say the whole community is behind this football team, Kalamazoo kind of took it literally, because if from where we were sitting in the away stands, you could look upon the whole city of Kalamazoo. So in the physical sense, Kalamazoo backs up Western Michigan.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Chris?
No, I think you described it perfectly. I liked how many trains went by behind the stadium. There was 3 or 4 of them.
It was 1 million.
1 million trains.
1 million trains. One every 0.2 seconds. The whole game. It was weird. And also, isn't that kind of dangerous having a train tracks going right through the middle of your campus? Because it went through basically the middle there. Because like you still because there's buildings on one side of the train tracks and buildings on the other side. So
I mean, they've got their warnings like, hey, and they have the alarms that will going off how a train's coming. They got their lights and they got the gates that come down.
That is true.
The cross bucks. I feel like that's probably the best way to go about it. I mean, just don't be dumb.
Yeah.
And cross when a train is coming.
That's true. But I don't know. Those kids are from Kalamazoo, so who knows?
I don't know. I really liked how accessible the stadium was from every single angle. I really liked how there was just multiple concession stands on each side. I thought that little bus they had at the bottom was pretty cool. That you got your hot chocolate from.
That was
I don't know if you got that on video or not.
I didn't know. I should have got a video of it.
That was pretty cool. Environment, I mean, there was maybe like 4,000 or 5,000 people there.
Yeah.
I looked up the capacity last night. It sits over 30,000 people.
Wow.
Over 30,000.
I mean, the front rows were kind of filled up at the start of the game.
Yeah.
That was hard too because everybody kept leaving like every quarter. It felt like it was filled up when the game started, like in terms of like the first couple rows. But then after the first quarter, a bunch of people left. Second quarter, a bunch of people left. Halftime, like a lot of people left. And then like at the end of the third and in the middle of the fourth quarter, like everyone left. It was really weird.
It was 31-0.
Well, yeah, but what I was cringing at was the guy with the microphone saying, "All right, everybody, let's scream, let's go Broncos!" And it's like
nobody did anything.
Yeah, and there's also no one there to say "Let's go Broncos." So
I think we were the loudest people that were saying "Let's go Broncos."
Yeah,
like, we were actually trying to help.
Yeah, I mean, he's out here wearing a bowling green football jersey, and I'm wearing a BG hoodie, and we're just like, "Let's go Broncos!" That was really funny.
It was a fun environment. I mean, that's your first ever midweek
action game.
Yeah. There's other than rivalries, that's pretty much the attendance numbers.
I'm not gonna lie though. I don't know if I enjoyed watching BG have a close game with Miami last year or watching BG dominate Western Michigan.
Well, you kind of said it yourself. You just enjoy watching your team, and that's about it.
That's also a good point. Yeah, I'm kind of just obsessed with Purple Raiders.
Yeah. Which I mean, I don't blame you. I mean, that's just kind of how you are. I can't change that. But
yeah, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy the game. I just love my team.
Like you're just not like emotionally invested. Like you care less which one way or another how it goes.
That's good. Like I wouldn't have been upset if Western Michigan dominated you guys.
No, like that's how it was when I go and watch you guys. Like that's just how it is. Like it's just not my team.
It's just football. It's just fun watching football.
Yeah, just fun watching football.
Yeah, but also in terms of uniforms, oh my, BG's white uniforms with the orange helmet, the chrome orange helmet, and then Western Michigan wearing the all gray with the white helmet. All at that. Honestly, the two best uniforms I've seen on the field at the same time. Two best uniforms.
Really? Two best uniforms you've seen at the same time?
Like both fire uniforms playing each other. That's awesome. Because usually it's only like one team with a really cool uniform, and then it's like, I love the uniform combinations for both teams. I loved it.
Really?
I loved it.
I don't know. I prefer the all whites. You haven't seen the all whites that Bowling Green wears yet in person. My favorite uniform combination game was honestly last year's Toledo game. I don't remember what Toledo wore, but it was probably the best like home uniform.
Well, those yellow helmets, blue jerseys kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Those were so cool.
That last year's Toledo game was the best like uniform game I've seen, and then the all whites.
But also, if BG had are you saying also white helmets?
Yeah, they also had the white helmets last year.
So you want an all white team going up against a team with white helmets and gray jerseys? That just doesn't sound very fun. That doesn't. Like, I think it's cooler when they clash. Like the fact that it's chrome orange helmets going up against teams with white helmets. Like you can't have both teams wearing white helmets. That just doesn't mesh well.
Yeah, I don't know. To each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
Overall, the game. I mean, I had a great time.
I had a wonderful time too, and my toes and fingers was killing me.
That was probably the coldest game you've ever sat through. While not being a player.
I would have to agree with you. Yeah, probably the coldest.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I'm gonna need to change my gloves for the Browns game.
I'm just gonna layer more layers, and
you're gonna need a coat.
I do have a windrunner jacket coming, so I'm gonna wear like
a jacket.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear more long sleeve shirts.
Man has the money to pay for a coat. No, he just gets a jacket. Man has the money to buy a coat. Refuses to buy a coat, and he buys a jacket.
No cool guy.
Where is the logic in that?
I'm trying to look like, okay, I'm not gonna say the S word, but cool and attractive. You know, I'm not trying to like wear a puffy coat. Like, what's up, girl? You know what I'm saying? How am I supposed to pick up chicks with a coat on? Tell me that.
Really?
That's why I'm going to the game. You think I'm going to the game to watch football? I'm just playing. All right, if this video gets 5 likes. No, actually, I got 500 subs. Let's up it to 20 likes. If this video gets 20 likes, I will buy a coat. I'll vlog the experience of me and Chris will go together and we'll go get me a coat. That's that 20 likes and I'll wear a coat.
It's gonna be knowing you, it's just gonna be a thin coat.
Absolutely, it's gonna be. It's gonna be like a thin, like super thin. Those like Carhartt ones are like thin, like super.
You're better off just getting the jacket then if you're gonna get a thin coat.
He's
gonna freeze. He is going to freeze. He is not ready for the Browns game.
25 likes, and I'll let Chris pick out a coat for me. 25 likes.
You guys better luck. 25.
Share with your friends. Share with your family. 25 likes on this video, and Chris will pick out a coat for me.
Save his life. It's not 25 likes just to have likes. It's 25 likes so he doesn't get sick and die.
Do you want CFP to die? Do you want him to die? That's what I thought. Okay. 25 likes. I know you guys can do it. In terms of stats, man, BG really. I mean, in terms of stats, it doesn't look like either team kind of ran away with anything. Like BG had 21 first downs, Western Michigan 16. BG had 132 total rushing yards, Western Michigan 135. BG had 228 passing yards, and Western Michigan 123. But in terms of Western Michigan's passing game, that quarterback was running for his life the whole game.
How many sacks did they get? Because there was like a drive where they didn't even get a playoff. Like all 4 downs were sacks.
I don't even know where I can see that right on here.
I'll pull it up.
They had 5 sacks for a loss of 27 yards. And Western Michigan only had 1 the whole game for a 9-yard loss. And that was at the end of the game. That was kind of a crucial, even though the game was over, but like that was kind of a big drive for them defensively. They actually got 3 out of their 4th down conversions though. Shout out Western Michigan.
Overall, big players. Connor Bazelak, that Big Ten transfer at quarterback, 218 for 26 for 217 yards, 2 touchdowns. And that Harold Fannin, number 44, 8 receptions, 99 yards.
Their quarterback didn't throw a single passing touchdown. Only he threw for 2 interceptions. That is crazy.
Yeah, 1 for a pick 6.
Yeah, he did that pick 6. All right, should I break that down?
Yeah, go ahead.
For the coaches out there, and someone
for the coaches.
Appreciate that, Chris. For someone that's pursuing a master's in coaching potentially, I watch a lot of film, and I watch a lot of receiver film and a lot of coaching tips, and this play could have been resolved. The quarterback went through his reads and through, what in my opinion, what should have been the first read last. Like, I don't know why you're throwing the ball super. It was a 5-yard width hitch to the receiver, so he's going outside even further. The corner backed up about 7 yards off, but the quarterback threw the ball so slow, and the receiver sat there and didn't come back to the ball. Like, you see a corner coming down, go back and get the ball. And the ball was thrown so poorly. The corner could have walked to pick it off. I mean, you guys can go back and watch the play. I mean, from a coaching standpoint, as a receiver, if I know that the quarterback's making a late throw to me on the hitch, I'm running and getting that. As a width hitch, you kind of want to sit. You want to sit, but that's only if it's like an instant throw. This quarterback took his time with his reads. I mean, it felt like he had the ball in his hand for 3 or 4 seconds. I mean, it was just the weirdest play, the latest throw, the most poorly thrown ball. I mean, the guy was like, "Yeah, that's a pick 6." I mean, what did you say about that, Chris?
I just thought the defender made a good play on the ball. He saw that the receiver wasn't making that adjustment, and he took advantage of it.
I'd be disappointed if he didn't make that play on that ball because, I mean, it was so obviously there. Like, I mean, in terms of offensive execution, it was so poorly. So, I mean, it was probably the worst play they had all night.
Receiver, he was benched until like midway through the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, he didn't get back in either. So, I mean, I think the receiver coaches also saw what he was doing. I mean, why did he not come back towards that ball? As a receiver myself, like, that frustrates me because that's being a receiver 101. You know, like you just know to do that. So,
I'd say once that play was made, I think the game was over.
That sealed the game. That really sealed the momentum and it's the game overall.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, that was just your typical Maction like beating, I guess. I mean, it was a good experience though overall, but I mean, was it a good game? No. It was not. It was over at halftime.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited, though, for BG to get, like, a bowl game and stuff, though. I'm excited to see what happens.
Kudos to Leffler. I mean, there's a couple just questionable coaching decisions I think he's made in the past few games. Like, I think we can all admit his goal line play calling is just not the best.
I don't understand why he has
with all the trick
great
plays.
basic plays that work, and then he just pulls these trick plays out of his butt, and they work once in a blue moon. I think he ran like 3 or 4 trick plays against Western Michigan. I know it's the last game, so I guess I kind of get it in that aspect. But only the first one he tried worked. It was like a really late fake play action, and the tight end ran like it wasn't a tight end pop pass, but it was like a play action post tight end pop pass, and it worked. But Bays like almost overthrew him, and it was hilarious. It wasn't tight end. It was the slot receiver. Actually, now I think about it, because it wasn't 44. It was number 1, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was number 1. Sorry, it was a slot receiver because it was like a bunch formation, and Bays like almost overthrew him. But that receiver made a great play and caught it in the end zone. Kind of dove for it.
Shout out to OJ Hilaire making the play.
OJ Hilaire, shout out you. Was it the guy from HBCU? Or who was that?
Yep.
Yeah, shout out the HBCU guy. We watch a lot of transfer portal stuff. I mean, Chris talk about transferring in and out and stuff like that.
They got him last year.
Was it last year?
Last year in Brent transfer portal.
What did he play for again?
Alabama A&M, both number 1 and number 2. That Abdul Fatih Ibrahim, he came from Alabama A&M as well. They're both teammates.
They're teammates, they're buddies. So are they close? You think they're probably close then?
I'd assume so.
Since they transferred together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Well, guys, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you guys tuning in the very first episode of the Bench to Mike podcast. This has been great. A lot of fun things coming. I wish you could make episodes more consistently for you guys, but with Chris going to BG and me going to Mount Union, which is 2.5 hours apart, we make episodes when we can, mostly on breaks, and hopefully over the summer we can kind of come up with some stuff. But appreciate you boys watching, and Chris, you have any closing remarks or anything?
We will be covering, if Mount Union makes it to the Stag Bowl, we will be covering the Stag Bowl, and we will also be covering the Browns versus Jets on Thursday night football.
Thursday night football,
and
heck yeah.
Depending on how bad the Jets lose, we will only be covering up until we leave. So if we leave at halftime, we're covering the first half.
Is there actually a chance we leave at halftime if they suck?
Oh, I told Emma, I was like, we are leaving because I think the Bills and Jets game, Bills were up 16-6, and the Jets kind of used up all their points in the first half. I was like, if it's that score at halftime, we're leaving. We're not. It's not worth staying and freezing.
I agree with that.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah. All right, so you guys can follow me on Instagram at _CF3_. Chris, you want to shout out your Instagram?
C.Cortez50.
Heck yeah. So follow us on social media. You also can check out the Bench to Mike podcast Instagram, bench_2_Mike on Instagram. We also have hoodies coming for our family and friends, and we're wearing hoodies while we do the podcast. I'm picking those up later today, so we're super excited for that as well. But yeah, I appreciate you boys watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.
And if you would like to buy our tickets off of us, hit one of us up on Instagram. We have 5 tickets to the Browns and Jets game on Thursday night. If you would like it, make an offer. Go ahead and just DM one of us.
Yeah.
Preferably him. DM him. And we got 5 tickets. And if you got 5 friends, or if somebody wants to come with us, go ahead and make an offer. We got you.
Make an offer.
Make an offer.
Thank you. All right. We'll catch y'all boys next time. Peace.
See ya.